NSFW, 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 NSFW.
So we have obviously several items to kind of go over in regards to this voice chat AMA, and then we can answer any questions that the community has. Obviously, it's been a very busy last 4 days since Sunday, since the initial migration. We can assure you that it's going to be the last one for sure. I know no one else wants to deal with it. I can assure you none of us want to deal with that again. It's an absolute nightmare in terms of handling the requests and DMs that come in. I know that's taken a lot of our focus over the last couple of days in terms of people emailing and DMing with questions, but we need to address them, and most of them have been resolved in terms of the issues that they had. So now we can look forward. We're in a much better position in terms of the liquidity pool. As you can see now, the sell rates and buy rates have a less impact on the market cap than they did before. We're not seeing those huge swings in terms of market cap. Last time I checked, we were over or just about, over 10% of liquidity pool over market cap. So that's very important. We needed to fix that, and thankfully that was fixed. Secondly, we have a much better redistribution rate set up. As you've seen, you're getting now 2% reflection on every trade. We're also getting that marketing wallet that is beefing up, allowing us to take a lot more marketing initiatives going forward. And the burn rate at 2% has been adding up very quickly. In addition to the 40 billion tokens, 40% of the tokens that we went and actually burned manually, we've roughly burned 164 million tokens just from the automatic burn rate that's embedded with the reflections. With that being said, I want to quickly just address some of the most common questions that we're getting in the group in regards to just questions after the migration. And it's really 3 of them. Right now, the price is currently not showing up on Trust Wallet, and that is because they pulled their data from CoinMarketCap. We've already reached out to CoinMarketCap. They take a little bit longer. As you saw, CoinGecko updated relatively quickly. But as soon as CoinMarketCap goes ahead and updates our contract address, it will start pulling their data into Trust Wallet, and you will see the price of your tokens reflected there. In regards to the logo, it's a similar thing. We have to go and update that directly with Trust Wallet. So we've submitted a pull request for that. It's done through GitHub, and that will be updated shortly, probably the next day or so. And the third question is in regards to people showing less tokens. This is mainly due to the fact there is a discrepancy that happened after the snapshot was taken and the artificial dump that occurred. You did see a reflection there of that 1% that we previously had on the token. So that artificially inflated your token amount. So that's why some people are seeing slightly less tokens, but rest assured it's relative the same across the board in terms of everyone. It wasn't true increase, and you received the airdrop equivalent to what you had at the time of the snapshot. And with that being said, obviously now we have a 2% reflection enabled, so you should see those tokens much quicker. Terms of items moving forward. So it's going to be a pretty busy couple of next weeks, but let's talk about the next week and kind of what we have in the pipeline and what's working in terms of from a marketing point of view. We have on Monday, June 7th, a couple of important things. We have the podcast with Jessa Rhodes and Callie Carter. We have Ginger's drop on 6/7 at 1 p.m. Pacific time. We have a Telegram AMA on Crypto Titans at 7 a.m. Pacific time. And that's on Monday. We also are, as you saw, we teased the video. We're going to be releasing that on socials in terms of what the mock-ups are looking like for the redesign of the current platform. That is something that we're working on. I think that's very important at this stage. In terms of when we do start getting more traffic from the relationships that we've created and some of the bigger platforms that may be relaying over traffic, we want to make sure that the UI is completely revamped. So that's been a big focus for us as well over the last week and a half. And we've shared that mock-up. If you haven't seen it, we will be uploading it to socials. Not sure about YouTube because obviously there is some R-rated content there and they're pretty strict. We'll try to blur it out, but I'm not sure. We're looking at alternatives to do that. For sure, we'll be on Twitter. Secondly, we have another Telegram AMA scheduled for June 8th at 11 a.m. on Lando Community. If you haven't seen already, there's been some updated and revamped designs for the ad sets that we have, and that was actually Ganesh in the community that did an amazing job in terms of putting those together in a quick turnaround. So we will be running those new ads on PooCoin ads and cointraffic.io. We already have some ads running on PooCoin, but we're going to beef up the spend on a daily basis because obviously it's very competitive, and we want to make sure that we're showing up on most people's page. Next big push from a marketing point of view is once we get the updated contract on CoinMarketCap, we're going to do a big push to get us trending again like we did last time. That's probably one of the most effective things at this point is once that does happen, we were going to do what we did last time in terms of getting as many watch list saves as possible. Obviously, the community will help as well, but we'll make sure that we'll implement that on our own on the back end and giving giveaways on other channels so that we can get that push, because that's generally the quickest way to get attention to our platform. And in terms of some of the daily stuff that we're going to keep on doing, obviously Reddit with posts on crypto moonshots and Satoshi street bets. I'll have James kind of talk about the ambassadors daily task list that we've implemented that started today, and some of the other things that we have in the pipeline. James, if you could hop on. James?
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Sorry. Yep. I was just having some problems with the muting here. Yeah, in terms of the ambassador program, as many of you know, perhaps all of you know, we've been ramping up our ambassador program, bringing on a lot of very, very strong members to that team. And we've been ironing out the different sort of specifics and processes that fall within that. So working to basically figure out how we can best leverage these brand ambassadors so that they can best promote the platform and get as much out of the platform for themselves as well. So lots of really exciting stuff in the works from that. We're rolling out a process doc for all existing and upcoming brand ambassadors so that they can be fully up to date with all the sort of different tasks that we want them to tackle for us. And then another great thing in the works is, as many of you might know, the NSFW song. We are looking to take that to the next level. We're looking to develop the excitement around that further. So we are planning to get a couple of big names on the track. We can't disclose just yet who they're going to be, but you will have heard of them, and we're going to make this song something a lot bigger than it currently is. We're also planning to do more with that, including shoot a video for it, and do some hefty promotion around it as well. So stay tuned as we roll out more information on that, but we're super excited about that, and we think you guys are gonna see it and hear it, and it's gonna make some noise.
Yeah, and that's really the focus on kind of bringing on outside eyes in terms of getting known rappers, because Chris was kind enough to provide us the track with two empty verses so that we can get two different people to rap on that. And then we do want to do a music video with models and porn stars and shoot that. Obviously, like we've mentioned, now that we have the 1% coming from marketing, we're much more available to do bigger things than what we've been doing thus far. So it's very exciting in terms of what we're going to be doing. And go ahead, James. Sorry about that.
Yeah, thank you. And then I just wanted to run through some of the broader marketing stuff that we're currently building out for the next few weeks as well. So we are in talks with a PR agency that will provide us with robust, ongoing PR support for the next few weeks and months. That will get us featured in a lot of prominent and top tier publications in the industry, amongst other things such as events and sort of press coverage in the form of interviews, etc. We're also building out an ad plan in terms of getting into the ad networks within the industry. So that will allow us to show up on prominent sites within the space. The biggest ones are the ones we're targeting right now, and all the ones you guys know about and use will be there. We're still building out a partnerships program, so we're going to bring on big names. We have some budget set aside for that as well, to bring on some of the biggest names in the industry to work with us, both on drops, potentially in BA positions, and other promotional angles to the business as well. We have some more contests and giveaways that we're planning to roll out. I'm sure you guys have seen, like the one we did for PlayStation, for the free PlayStation 5, for the NFT, the one that wrapped up yesterday, and the cash incentive ones we've done in the past as well. So there's going to be more things of that kind of coming your way. Thanks to everyone that's participated in this so far. We've seen great engagement and excited to do more of those. So those are the things we're looking to do specifically to promote the platform itself. And then on the token side, we have a few things in the works currently in terms of different ad placements on sites. But additionally to those, we're still looking at potential influencer and creator postings. So on different platforms, such as YouTube and TikTok, potentially Instagram and Twitter as well. Alex, I don't know if you wanted to talk to any of that a little bit more.
Yeah, so obviously we're still waiting on that other video. Because this is recorded, I'm not going to say anything in regards to that, but we're still waiting on that. We finally got a response today after some of the community members reached out. So that's unfortunately experience that James and I have had in the past with working with influencers. Generally, they're not the most reliable when it comes to delivering things on time. So that's something that we're keeping in mind and really looking for people that we can rely on, that if they say they're going to do it in a certain day, we will have that, because that kind of dampens our whole marketing plan for the week if something's supposed to be done this week and then it doesn't come out for like 2-3 weeks after that. So it does take time to find the right people to partner with in terms of YouTube and TikTok, but obviously that is currently in works, where we have several different outreach campaigns in terms of getting the ones. I think now that the dust has settled after the migration with the new redistributions, it's going to be much more effective with those videos. And once again too, that's why the revamp of the UI is important at this point. It's going to look a lot better when people for the first time are landing on our site. I do want to kind of touch quickly on some of the other items. I know the exchanges, KuCoin and Gate.io. So Gate.io, we have been talking to them. Obviously, we submitted already the application to Gate.io. We probably need to revise that, obviously, because it had the old contract. Generally, their turnaround is about 3 weeks. I conservatively said 4 to 6 weeks, just to add some wiggle room, just to not, overpromise. And we should still be in that time frame, but just keep that in mind because of the migration. We do have to resubmit that and amend what we previously submitted. We are looking more intensely into KuCoin because they have adjusted some of the pricings to get there, and I think that's most accessible to people in the Western side, because I know Gate.io is more in the eastern side of the world. With that being said too, I know there was some questions in regards to the utility token being used on the platform, because obviously with the new redistribution rate set at 10%, some people have asked in regards to, if I purchase it and there's a 10% tax, and then I transfer, there's another 10% tax, I'm essentially paying 20% more. That is something that obviously is a problem, and people are used to having a high redistribution rate because a lot of these tokens don't necessarily have a utility or a use case. So for the time being, we will offer the discount. So if you're paying with NSFW, we'll cover it at 20%. So there won't be an actual incentive. We'll at least be covering what the redistribution is. But in the future, as the LP, and we're at a pretty solid pace, we'll probably be reducing the 5% that's currently going to LP providers. Obviously, we will give ample notice to all the LP providers prior to that. And that's just the way, because initially when we set up the coin, we set it up for a reason with no redistribution rate, because it's difficult to have a utility token when every time there's a transfer, you're getting a hit in terms of the actual percentage. But we'll figure that out when the time comes. In terms of other big events such as XBiz, we do have Exotica coming up in July. That's from the 16th to the 18th. We will be sponsors there as well. And this one's actually a live event. So we're hoping to have a couple brand ambassadors be there as well, representing us, other than just the team. And I think that's for the most part kind of what I have. Like I said, right now there's a lot that we're planning in terms of the marketing. We'll give more updates as more videos come out and so on and so forth. But we're in a much better spot now with the budget that we have and able to do that on a daily basis. And we are currently also talking to a head of marketing that was at a company. I know I mentioned this before, and he's still helping out in terms of helping out with companies, and he was, I think the last one he was working on like over 100 million market cap, in terms of what his budgeting works and how it works. But obviously at the time we couldn't afford to do a lot of the stuff that he had in work, so we're revisiting it now that we get a higher budget going forward. And I'm going to go ahead and open it up to the community if any questions that we haven't addressed thus far.
Hey Alex, I think first of all, just want to say a massive thank you for putting up with the headache that you must have been experiencing during the migration. Completely understand why it was done. Got to say personally, I'm loving the new tokenomics, and I think this has really given us a solid foundation to grow from. In terms of the burn you mentioned, so I know we're about at I think 160 million tokens that have been burned. It was mentioned before that when the utility of the NSFW token comes to the platform, that there may be an additional burn. Is that still something that's being looked into, or will there just be this one burn on a transaction?
No, so that's still something that we are most likely going to implement. I mean, right now it's still premature because we haven't fully implemented that into the platform. With that being said, as we have mentioned before, we will implement a solution to that with the redesign in the next week and a half. But in terms of adding a burn initially, probably not just yet, because we want to kind of see how it works due to the current tax. We don't want to add an additional burn just yet, but in the future, that's probably going to something that's we're going to implement once we remove that 5% tax for the LP providers.
Thank you. And just connected to that. So in terms of one of the questions I saw come up in the community was regards to the contract being locked. And I'm guessing that to be able to tweak the redistribution like that, you need to keep you need to keep the contract unlocked. But B, I'd also heard that if you lock the contract, it can cause issues with exchange listings. So is that something that's still being looked into in terms of not locking the contract?
That's been brought to our attention over the last week or so by several different community members, that we did mention getting audited and locking up the contract, but it does pose a lot of risks. And like we've said, we are not doing another migration. So right now, at the current time, it doesn't make sense until we get listed on a few exchanges, because it could be a problem. And the solution there, what the exchanges offer is, okay, you're going to have to get ownership of the contract and do a migration. So we're trying to figure out what the best outcome is for that. But yeah, to your point, it does pose problems if we do renounce ownership.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, I have a question.
Sure.
I wanted to ask, the taxes, do you guys receive them in BNB or in NFT tokens?
So the 6% tax is actually being received in BNB.
Okay. So when you guys pay for marketing, it's not like you're going to be dumping the coin to get BNBs and pay for marketing. You already have the BNB.
It's already BNB. And so if you look at the charity wallet, which we shared, we could share it again in the group so you can follow it. We've actually been purchasing back NSFW with the BNB for the 5%.
And so can you remind me how much the fees are? What percentage?
Sure. So the total redistribution is 10%. 5% right now is going to LP providers, which is airdropped on a bi-weekly basis in NSFW tokens. 2% is going to holders, 2% is being burned, and 1% is going for the marketing fund.
And all of that comes in BNB.
No.
That 10% you get it.
No.
Then
So the 2% is burned automatically. The 2% to holders goes in NSFW. The one that goes in BNB is the 6%, of which we receive it in BNB. It goes to the wallet, and then from there we transfer 1/6 to the marketing wallet, and then the 5% we use to buy back NSFW.
And regarding the marketing, are we looking into other YouTubers besides this guy that didn't post the video?
Oh yes, 100%. We've been emailing back and forth. I mean, there's some of the issues we've encountered thus far. Full disclosure is, given the nature of our industry, a lot of people are hesitant because, as we know, YouTube is very strict when it comes to content that is on the platform. So we've had that feedback from YouTubers not wanting to do it because they don't want to get the page removed. And we know from Polyani's experience that just doing a simple AMA recap got banned for which is crazy in my opinion. But unfortunately, we have to play by the rules. So we're making sure that when the videos are done, they're following the guidelines and not showing explicit material or insinuating explicit content on the videos.
I think Twitter might be a bit more relaxed about that.
They are, yes, definitely. But that's why that's a different medium. I know we want to do videos. I know TikTok has been a headache because the first few TikTok videos that we've done, the creators actually had to redo them twice because they got removed, and then ultimately they got removed again. So that's just the nature of the game given the industry that we're in. It's the traditional marketing mediums are a little bit more complex.
And were you guys able to get a refund?
No, that was a loss, and that was money that we used out of our own pocket. It was a learning experience. So, I mean, they delivered what they said. At that point, it wasn't really their fault. So it was a learning experience for us to just make sure that the video needs to be audited by us before it's submitted. And even then, there's no guarantee that it's going to stick.
It wouldn't get deleted.
Yeah.
And do you guys know the YouTuber Torin Hoffman, the guy with the mustache?
He sounds familiar, yes.
So I would advise against using him because he's really unreliable, and what he does, he buys a lot of the coin before posting his video, and then when it pumps, he just dumps.
Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of these quote unquote crypto influencers, and that's why there's a lot more due diligence that needs to be done. I can tell you firsthand, the people that pop into our community and offer marketing services. I know this from personal experience, and I've been told by other teams, 99.99% are disingenuous in terms of accounts being botted, and just it's a lot of fake stuff. And that's something too with a lot of these other influencers too. Like, we have to really do our due diligence in terms of like their engagement, because there's no point of spending money if the engagement is not right. Some of the bigger names charge an arm and a leg. Like BitBoy, for example, we've communicated with him. It's $30,000 to get a video on YouTube. Yeah. So we're not there yet. We'll get there, but not just yet.
I have the last question. I didn't completely understand what you were talking about regarding the having to do another migration.
No.
Like, what would be the reason?
Yes. So what happens is when you get listed on certain exchanges, and it's on a case-by-case basis, they have different requirements and restrictions. And oftentimes they might ask you to make a change on the contract when it comes to the actual tokenomics. So right now, since we haven't renounced ownership, we still have control over that. Meaning if we need to lower, for example, the LP percentage from 5 to 3, hypothetically speaking, that can be done.
Yeah, you could do that.
Right. Once you renounce ownership, you can't. And if the exchange says, hey, we'd love to have you, but right now, given the tokenomics that you have, we can't accommodate you, then we're pretty much in a very difficult spot. And like I said, we do not want to do another migration. So that's why we are looking at, any potential speed bump down the road that can occur before we make any dramatic changes like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the majority of our community as of now they're all people that there is not much newcomers. It's mainly people that genuinely believe in the project, and I don't think there's pressure from the community for you to renounce the contract. I mean, even if you like, there's a lot of projects that renounce the contract. They dox themselves, they lock wallets, lock liquidity, and they still do rug pull. So I don't see a point in renouncing a contract, and I would still be against that. So.
No, and I agree. I think, yeah, for the most part, our base is pretty solid, but obviously right now we're focusing on attracting new holders as well. And I know that's going to be something that, people, they hop into Telegram and they ask the same 3 or 4 questions right off the bat. So we just want to make sure that we're able to articulate it to them why we're making a certain decision. But yeah, it's one of those things that I'd rather make sure we're doing everything appropriately than have to deal with, doing a migration again, because like I said, we're not doing that again.
Yeah, we also can't continue at these low prices because Jonas is going to end up buying the whole supply. Anyways, that's all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, this is Annie. I wanted to speak on the YouTube, the issue where my account got, sorry, I apologize for the noise, I'm outside. But my account got suspended where I couldn't post anything for a week. And it was because I used the xxXNifty, my personal link to my site, my page on that site. And so that's a no. I'm not sure if I can just put the xxXNifty website, without directly linking it, if I can just put the home page or not. I'm kind of scared to try because I recently lost my Twitter as well. And they're still blocking me from starting a new one. But I just wanted to encourage you guys too, is as a community to support our grassroots efforts at marketing and promoting. I know I don't have a super large following. I've only been in this industry for less than 2 years. This month is actually my 2-year anniversary in this. And so my videos on TikTok that I've been making, just that educational videos, just trying to spread awareness, what are NFTs, what's crypto, what's blockchain, and also on YouTube and my efforts on Instagram. I feel compared to how many people there are in this community, that it's getting very little engagement interaction. So I really encourage you guys, go support my stuff. Follow me on my socials. Follow me on my places. And the same with all the ambassadors and creators. Anytime anyone posts something about, this project, you guys need to swarm and go and and comment because that stuff helps.
That's a good point, Annie. I think specifically now that we are implementing the brand ambassador kind of daily task, it's important. I think we'll probably pause the chat for a period to have the whole community go and retweet, comment, the post, because obviously the more engagement it gets, the better it's going to be for everyone. So that's something that we need to implement together as a community.
Absolutely, and that'll make it all so much more appealing for, bigger names to join, and more hype will be built around it. But it really has to start at this community kind of grassroots effort, and it's going to build up and get better from here. So thank you all for everything.
Have you guys looked into Instagram swipe up ads? Let's say from Tucci Cash, she has 5 million followers, and her swipe up would cost maybe $500.
Yeah, so we're looking at all the different channels that we can use on socials. I know a lot of, because generally crypto to some extent is prohibited on some of those socials, but I have been seeing them myself in terms of.
Do you know Tucci Cash?
No.
I'll link her Instagram, but anyways, she's into crypto. So she wouldn't mind posting it. She did it for another coin that's in the same industry, and it pumped the coin from a 500K market cap to a 2 million market cap.
Okay, yeah, if you could share that, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. And one thing, Annie, you can try maybe linking the Telegram instead, if that would help not getting it blocked.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing, is just directing towards, I was advised on Instagram to not use hashtags. recently by like another adult content creator that's been mentoring me, and she suggested that I don't use hashtags, and that some of like even just putting the words NSFW, xxxNifty, that those words are triggering for the algorithms. So for creators like me, even like trying to promote this project is kind of like getting me shadow banned. And so we really do as a community need to come together and figure out, like, especially if we're trying to pay influencers, right? Like we had the issues with the TikTok videos, like what can we say? What can we not say? How do we have to hashtag it, or how do we have, you know, what links can we use and not use? So the ambassador program is going really well, and I'm really happy with how the team is organizing there. And so we're going to all team up and figure this out.
Thank you, Annie.
I have a question real quick.
Sure.
I might be a little late to the party on this. Maybe there's a pin message, but in regards to the migration and with the old tokens, is there a procedure, or can I just leave them where they're at, or do I have to move them?
So the old tokens, we locked right now that contract because we had the issue the first time that people were purchasing the wrong token, and that's the last thing we want. So that one is currently locked. We did have a window slightly after we announced the migration before the airdrop where people could sell, but that window's closed. So right now the best thing to do is honestly just disregard those tokens and just focus on the new one.
Okay. So that's interesting. So that money's like dead money.
In essence, I mean, what we could probably do is schedule another time, giving enough announcement to everyone to open it up. And I think there's I don't know how much is left in there, but we could reopen it and let people sell their tokens. But we want to keep it locked to make sure no one else is buying that token. And the good thing is with it being locked, it also doesn't even show up on PooCoin.
Okay.
So, Alex, that old contract is locked, you're saying?
Correct.
All right,
it's locked from purchasing and selling.
I'm trying to help somebody in Discord, and they're claiming that they just bought it like just now, and he's pasting the old contract address, and he's like, "Oh, I just got scammed, didn't it?" I was like, "I have no idea. I thought it was locked."
He might have purchased the original one or a fake one, because there are fake ones. If you look up, there's a lot of NSFW ripoffs. But the old one should be locked, and I could triple check after the call.
Okay.
Alex, me again. Absolutely loved the sneak preview of the platform that's coming. Are you still aiming for, I think it was June 14th, that was mentioned at the last AMA, in terms of that going live? And will that version of it have the NSFW token able to be used on it?
Yes. So that's, like I said, that's mainly just a UI overhaul of the existing website. So when it comes to functionalities, it's going to be the same as it is right now, but we will be adding the ability to purchase with NSFW. With that being said, what we're waiting on before we actually implement it on the site is our CoinMarketCap listing to be updated, because it's going to pull the API information from there to give the price and then convert it to USD. So right now our hands are tied when it comes to, because we could technically implement it today. It's just we need to wait for the CMC to be updated.
Yeah, understood. Like I said, I'm just completely blown away by your parents. Can I just make one recommendation, if you haven't already thought of this? I think we need to get the amazing news of the token burn out there. And it would be great if you could have like a running counter on the front page showing how many tokens have been burned and how many are left. That really kind of calls out the scarcity of the token as it continues to increase. And I think that will continue to generate a bit more hype around it as well.
Yeah, I think we could put that on the NSFW portion of the page. I don't know if I want to have that on the homepage too, because it's like we kind of do want to differentiate it. I know there's a lot of sites that do that, but they don't really necessarily have a use case. So they blast the homepage with everything about the token. I do think it's important we mention it, but I don't want the homepage to become specifically just about the token, but I'd love to add that onto like the NSFW page of the website.
Sounds perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, let's add a question in regards to partnerships. Or are you guys currently talking to like Chatterbait or like MyFreeCams to utilize that token on their sites or any of the other webcam sites?
We are having discussions. I mean, those not necessarily with all the ones you just mentioned. Those conversations do take a long time. You know how traditional businesses, they take forever to make updates. Right now, I think the quickest thing in terms of like partnerships is partnering with some of the bigger companies and doing NFT drops on our site with some other models and making exclusive content for them. But we are looking to implement the token as well on other platforms.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, I have an idea if I would. Also an idea for partnerships is what if we looked at like sex toy companies or product lines, like that are in the same industry, like, dildo makers or, Bluetooth sex toys like Lovin's.
That's what we're
that
already.
would be really interesting.
That's what we're working on right now.
Oh, that's fantastic because I haven't seen that done yet.
Yeah.
In
So
this space,
what
and
we
that would
plan
be
on
really
doing
neat.
is doing NFT drops with the models that have like a custom fleshlight or a custom, Lovin's or vibration pattern, because there's a lot of different of these sites. And
that's great.
And that would come, so they would use it in the NFT and it comes as an unlockable as content. That's what it is. I don't want to mention companies because nothing is finalized, but that's what we're working on right now.
Sweet. I would suggest Lovin's and Hanky's Toys. They have a pretty good community as well. Or you know what I mean? Lovin's is great for Bluetooth toys, but a dildo company would be pretty
We've
awesome.
connected with Lovin's actually at XBiz and have been talking to them to get that set up. Nothing has been finalized, obviously, but there's many other toy companies out there, such as Fleshlight and others that would fall in that category.
Yeah, I think the same thing. Like I spoke to Lovin's at XBiz as well, and I've done work with them. Like I made a piece of art of their Lush 2 toy, and I have a whole like line of product around that toy. And I spoke to them about it, and again, like same thing, same issue we're running into is they just don't understand NFTs. They don't understand the space. They said they were considering accepting crypto for their. Sorry, they were considering accepting crypto for their for payments, but again, the lack of understanding. So
yeah, we're in communication with them right now.
that's super exciting. I think that could be a really cool approach, honestly.
Yeah, it would be very big. It's just hopefully we can move forward with that. That's why, like I said, a big focus has been the UI overhaul of the website before we start working on these bigger projects and partnerships.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys are doing a great job. I just wanted to say thank you. I felt the migration was, I know there was a lot of commotion in the chat, but I was able to easily read the pin post and navigate through it all. So I thought it was very well communicated.
Yeah, not everyone likes to read, unfortunately. So
I could tell. I was like, it was really well communicated. So honestly, really good job on your end. I did not feel confused at all about what was going on. So
thank you.
I've got to echo that last comment. I thought it was really smooth. I wish people would read, didn't have to do anything. The token was just migrated over. I've been in other migrations where it's been a nightmare and you've got to kind of do stuff manually. So really well done on that.
Thank you.
Hey, Alex, so will the value of the token, like obviously the NFTs will vary in price depending on the person, but will that be variable based on the market, like the value of the token, or how does that work?
In terms of the NFT price?
Yeah, well, so for example, I wanted to buy an NFT and it was, whatever, 200, coins. What determines the value of that coin? Is it based on what the current market price is, or do you guys have a different value for that?
So I think that the NFTs will always be priced in US dollars just for consistency, because if we start pricing it at NSFW and then people, let's say, because we are going to accept other cryptocurrencies for the initial time, and also still probably fiat. We're still most likely going to remove that, but we do want to implement that in the beginning. It's just going to be easier to have like a solid fiat currency that doesn't fluctuate as much as the price, and then that way everything else can be converted based on that price. So to answer your question, most NFTs, they're all going to be priced in US dollars. So let's just say $500. And then if you want to buy it in NSFW, it's going to be converted at the existing price.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Are the NFTs going to be continued to using the OpenSea contract? Or are they going to move to something else?
So that's on V2. We're building it in house, and we're going to be doing it on BSC, because obviously on OpenSea in Ethereum network, it's obviously very expensive. And since we're handling that as a company, that cost for the creators, it's something that we want to minimize, because it's not cost effective to be spending $15 to $40 per transfer when the NFT is purchased.
Absolutely. And with it being on OpenSea, it's pretty easy to resell, because I've purchased one of the NFTs from the platform. And, if I wanted to, it would be easy for me to list that for resale.
Well,
and
we're also going to be rolling out on our platform a marketplace directly on the platform. I think that's very huge for getting interest in NFTs. And it's going to be very important for the creators as well because of the royalties. So that's what we're working on for the next on V2, is a marketplace directly on xxxNifty, meaning you can buy the initial drop, and then you can sell it, you can hold on to it if there's going to be a special event or stream that the creator is offering, but that does incentivize people to buy them, because they almost start speculating as if it was a token, and that's great for everyone ultimately.
Yeah, 100%.
Alex, it was great to hear that you're in touch with a professional marketing consultant / agency. I'm just conscious that I think there's three of you, yourself, James, and Christian, and the migration of anything shows that you've got a heck of a lot on your plates. How's the recruitment activity going that you mentioned at the last AMA? And are you looking to increase the team more than you mentioned on now?
Yeah, so we have added a part-time team member that's helping with recruitment specifically for and paid deals with top performers. So he's specifically focusing on that right now. The two biggest things that we're still trying to fill, and obviously we've been interviewing. It takes time to make that decision. Is the biggest one right now, other than the developer, is actually community manager, because there's a lot going on, right, on Discord and socials and Telegram, and as much as we all want to be there 24/7, the more we're on those channels, the less we're actually working behind the scenes. So it's very important for us to have a point of contact that's going to be there on a consistent basis that can then report to us. So right now, the biggest one we're looking for is community manager, and then a additional developer to help speed up the platform redesign and overhaul for V2.
I have to head out, and I just wanted to say one more thing. I'm sorry to interrupt. But I wanted to say that with the NFTs being on OpenSea, I've been kind of experimenting around with different NFT galleries where you can display your NFT collections, because I'm an NFT collector. And so I have 3 different of these NFT sort of collection platforms where you can go and view other people's collections that my NFT that I bought from xxxNifty is on all 3 of those. So that's one of the benefits right now for them being on OpenSea, is they're pretty well integrated with all of these other Web3 sort of things. So yeah. So trying to get the NFTs also into the NFT community so that they're aware of this project as well. And so also been posting the videos on DTube and 3Speak, which are crypto video platforms. Yeah. And that's all. That's my check-in. So thank you all so much. And I have to head out.
All right.
And great job, everyone.
Thank you, Annie. We'll be in touch.
Hi, Alex. A question that I see coming up quite a bit from the community is everyone's really excited and pumped about the brand ambassadors, but at the moment we're not seeing a huge amount from them across their channels on Twitter, etc. Kind of, piping and shouting from the rooftops about xxXNifty. So just wondered, is there a bit of sort of a plan or a roadmap to how and when they're going to be doing that?
So we actually rolled out today kind of like a daily task list for the brand ambassadors, and it's a way for them to spread the word as well as get rewarded. So that's something that we implemented today, because yes, I think, like I said, right now for the last 4 days, it's been literally just fixing the mess from the migration in terms of all the queries coming through and questions and stuff like that. It's like now that is kind of like behind us, we can just go full steam ahead. So yes, that's something that has been implemented, built out, and it's on a daily basis. And we do have a Telegram channel specifically just for the brand ambassadors, where we're organizing all this and bouncing off ideas on what works and what doesn't. So it's you'll start seeing that more often going forward, if you haven't already today.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, because I think that exposure sort of helps with it within their communities, of course, and then that also gives us, more content to kind of repurpose and shill and share, and
that's why
people excited about it. So that's great.
Yeah, and Annie made a good point earlier too. It's like we'll make sure to keep everyone in the community aware too. Like I'd say the first thing is make sure you're following all of our brand ambassadors on their socials. So whenever you see them post about us, engage with it, because as we know, more engagement, the more people are going to see, and the algorithm's going to pick it up even more. So to everyone that's on here, make sure you're following all of our brand ambassadors and engage with their content as they post about xxXNifty and NSFW.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Alex.
While anyone else thinks of any further questions, I do want to say, so we are going to keep doing these voice AMAs twice a week, unless there's anything that needs immediate attention. And we'll be doing the video AMAs most likely twice a month going forward. I know, and we also are scheduling right now doing like actual like Twitch AMAs with third parties as well, but that's separate. That's more of marketing versus us addressing the community as a whole.
As far as the podcast, you said it's on the 7th. Is that when it's being filmed, or is that when it's being released?
So they're a pretty new podcast. Like it's something that they just started. So they're going to be rolling out the content as it's created. So my understanding is it should be released shortly thereafter.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's going to be, so if you looked at the video, it's in a studio, but the studio's in Vegas. So I'm going to be there with a Zoom call. So it's going to be video and audio.
Is it going to be, are you going to be on a portion of the podcast? Or are you going to be like as a guest to their podcast, or what's that?
Well, I'm going to be a guest on the podcast, and I'm going to be talking about what we're doing here at xxXNifty, how NFTs and crypto is going to change the adult industry. And then we're going to talk about Callie Carter's drop on our platform, which is important because she's one of the co-hosts of the podcast.
Gotcha. And then I read yesterday that Google is going to be unblocking crypto ads in the near future. Is AdWords something that you guys are going to be looking into marketing through as well?
Yeah, I mean they have a lot of placement ads that we can utilize. That's a whole different world that we could explore in terms of new websites that can be utilized. So yeah, once they do unlock that and allow us to do it, it's something that we are going to be definitely implementing.
Got it. And last question, and I think you might have touched on it, I was kind of eating at the time, but the marketing wallet, is that in NSFW token or in BNB?
It's in BNB.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to know if it would affect the market price if you guys were to use the wallet. But
no, it's already in
BNB, then it should not.
It's already in BNB. So the way it works is once the reflections, the 5% reaches 10 million tokens, it automatically converts to BNB. And what we've been doing is the BNB then is 1/6 goes to the marketing, and then the other 5% is then used to buy NSFW.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've been trying to be strategic with it. We don't want to time it at the same interval because then people can front run it. So we're mainly buying it. And you can see, I mean, it's a public wall. I know people have seen it and tracked it. So you'll see when we're making the buys there.
Got it. Makes sense.
A quick question. So, first and foremost, I appreciate all the hard work you guys have been putting in, and I'm excited about things coming in the future. The question was that what marketing efforts are being done directly on like porn sites? Is there like an ad campaign in the future in the works?
Yeah, so there's 3, I guess, ad agencies that handle most of the websites. So we're the thing that we haven't started just yet is we want to focus we do want to do crypto as well. So I think what we wanted to do was really do the redesign, but we're probably going to be rolling that out next week with Pornhub ads and all the main porn sites and getting that up and running. And that's why right now, like, we've been focusing on getting different ad sets. Like, I know we had the ones that we showed earlier, and we're building out some other ones right now. It just has to be tailored based on what platform we're using, if that makes sense. In terms of like what platform we're advertising, it's going to be a different ad set.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Alex, at the event which you mentioned earlier, and I think you mentioned in previous AMAs, is it the Exotica event where you're going to be on a panel? What exactly is sort of xxXNifty's role there in that panel, or and sort of what's its objective? I just wondered what the kind of role is that you're sort of playing there. You had a sponsorship position at the XBiz, so I just wondered how, what the difference is, and as I say, what the objective is out of this next event.
Sure. So I'm not sure about the panel. We're not on a panel there as far as we know of just yet. So I'm not sure.
Okay.
That might have been misconstrued information, but the objective at these events is really twofold. It's brand awareness within the community. Obviously, if you see it at XBiz, you see it at Exotic, and you see it at the next event, you're like, all right, well, these guys are like, this is the NFT platform for the adult industry. And then obviously on top of that is just networking and connecting with adult content creators and connecting with other businesses within the area, which is pretty much what we did at XBiz. And I think it's the most successful way. And the good thing is now with COVID kind of dwindling down in the United States, it's like Exotica's in person, and all these new events are going to be in person. So it's even much more effective that way than the virtual one.
Great. Okay. Thanks for clarifying that. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Hi, it's Sabrina. I am very excited to have been taken on as an ambassador this week. And I just kind of wanted to back up what you just said there. Like, for me, I've had quite a few NFT sites come to me, and because the fact that you guys were at a proper industry event, I decided to go with you guys because you kind of seem to be focusing in the right areas.
Yeah, and I think that's why, like, for us from the beginning, the biggest focus is the platform. The utility token will serve its purpose on the platform, right? So it's like, at the end of the day, the platform is one of the biggest things, and it goes hand in hand with the token. But I know conversations I've had with other adult content creators at these events as well is, like, the other ones were just pushing so hard the token that it was kind of a turnoff for them.
Yeah, that makes sense. I also wanted to say quickly that I've been in the industry for like over 10 years now. So if you wanted to pick my brain about like kind of navigating the experience and kind of how to get around certain social media platforms, I'm happy to have a chat with you about that.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's connect after. Thank you, cool. Adrina. Anything else?
This is a random question, but I think on the past AMA it was mention of a new logo. Someone mentioned the text in the logo was too small to be readable. Was that still up for consideration?
Yeah, so we are planning to do a whole rebrand of xxNifty and NSFW. I don't know if you guys noticed, but even on the mock-up, NSFW is spelled out with the S being a dollar sign, so it's much more understandable, recognizable what we is as the token versus just the actual abbreviation. So we are working on that right now. I think right now, for example, for Trust Wallet, since we're going to have to re-upload the logo, we might be using something that says NSFW versus xxNifty because it is, as you mentioned, it's very tiny and it's difficult to read. So that's, you'll probably see in your wallets once that gets approved is NSFW instead of the xxNifty as the logo.
Great. Did you guys ever do a recap of the XBiz event? I know obviously you're saying that it was virtual as opposed to physical. But did you guys have like a game plan going into it, or like obviously you connected with like Ginger and Sabian and others, I guess. But like, in your opinion, like, was it amazing? Was it underwhelming? Like, how did you find it?
I think for being virtual, it was actually much better than I anticipated. What we were able to do in terms of game plan is we had access to pretty much all the businesses and creators that were there. So we had a game plan of who we wanted to talk to. So that was a little bit easier versus going, I guess, to an in-person event where, you know, there's hundreds of people and you're not sure where to go and where to find them versus being able to message them, email them beforehand, etc. So that was really the game plan, was just making the connection with the people that we thought were going to be most beneficial for us as a platform.
Yeah, definitely. I know you mentioned that advertising with YouTubers or whatever could be upwards of 30K or whatever. I'm sure Pornhub isn't cheap either.
Pornhub's actually, if you're using ads on their site, it's, believe it or not, like adult content is very cheap compared to some other industries.
Is that right? Yeah, I wouldn't have thought so. Yeah, that's quite interesting. I know nowadays Twitch has firmly embraced the hot tub meta, and I'm sure all of us here would love to see James with a couple of Playboy bunnies on each arm, you know, and on a live stream.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm glad the Playboy bunnies just got mentioned there, Alex. So when NSFW hits $1 per token, are you going to buy the Playboy mansion? And are we going to have a party?
I mean, I don't know if I could buy the Playboy mansion because I actually probably have less ownership than some people in this group, to be honest. But as a community, I'm sure we could probably do something.
Excellent.
I'll pitch in for sure. Yeah, I'll put a stake into it.
I will say, I think it was Pollyanny mentioned Lovin's as a partnership, and I mean, I'm only aware of that brand from research purposes on Chatterbait, purely for research. But I think definitely them of all people is actually a pretty decent shout. I don't know a ton about them, but I think it was a good shout from her.
Yeah, we did connect with them at XBiz, so we're in discussions with them. Obviously, nothing is finalized, and we will update accordingly. That's why we haven't really mentioned it thus far. But it's interesting, I think, doing that, and it really shows the power of the NFTs with the unlockables. If we can do, an NFT and there's a physical product used in there, such as like a fleshlight or a Lovin's toy or anything similar. There's many brands that do that, and then offering that as an unlockable, it really puts together what our vision is long term, like immediately, in terms of like creating a whole new experience for how people engage with that, with the adult content.
Yeah, I mean, it's so early at the minute, and like something could come into your inbox tomorrow or later this week that would completely revamp how you thought like where this could go. But from today, like these AMAs and your Twitch stream last week or a couple of days before XBiz, like I'm sure everyone here appreciates it. Like it means a lot, like that you actually keep in contact with the Telegram group and Discord and everything like the.
No, it's important. It's important, but obviously at the same time, it is very time consuming. But I'd say, like I think the migration window of a couple of days before the migration, a couple of days after, that's really where it's a lot. But now that that's behind us, I want to have a fixed schedule where, like I said, it's twice a week that we do these voice AMAs. Obviously, it's a lot of the same people, which is fine, but at the same time, we want to get this out there, and that's why we're recording this, and we're going to put it on YouTube so that new investors that want to kind of get to know the team and hear what the community is asking and learn more about the plans, it's much more accessible to them. So I think that's very important as well for moving forward, even from just a marketing point of view.
Honestly, I think the song is great. Like, I don't know any other project that's doing that. Like, and this is a small cap project. I don't know anyone that's done anything like that. And I think it's actually a great song. And I know you said you've got some things in the works for that, but I think that's a great idea, and definitely you should keep pushing forward with that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be. I mean, it could be huge in terms of depending on who we get on the song, and then building out like the video, because we're going to do an actual music video here in LA with adult content creators, and it's something we want to actually make sure it's polished, because that could attract a whole new audience, specifically depending on who we get on the song. So once again, thanks for Chris for putting that together, because that's going to be, it's very catchy. I've heard from people that aren't even involved in crypto, like, dude, I hear this song and it's like stuck in my head with that chorus. So
Yeah, no problem. Alex, can I be an extra in the video? Just throw me in the back somewhere.
yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll be repping NSFW t-shirts and merch and everything, because there's going to be a lot of NSFW in the video for sure.
I'm definitely down for that.
Whoever's on the West Coast, let us know.
Can we get the merch out to people?
Say that again.
How quickly can we get the merch out to people? Because personally, myself, I want to rep the brand wholeheartedly, and I would love to be repping that t-shirt.
Yeah, I mean, the t-shirt, I was thinking about implementing like a simple, we can probably even add it to our existing one, but I'd probably want to do like a subdomain for like shop.xxNifty, and there's sites where you can do print on demand, so it's actually pretty straightforward. That could be implemented as quickly as like in the next 2 days.
Alex, I saw a video on YouTube. Lambos are like running around with the xxNifty on it. Like, what was that promotion or something?
That was someone on the community that put that together, actually. We just reposted it with the song because I thought it looked pretty sleek. I know we are, like I said, now that we have the marketing budget, we have a lot of plans in terms of what we plan on doing out here in LA with doing that, like putting decals on luxury cars and getting models and shooting videos and clips. That's something that's definitely in the works.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
Alex,
when I did that hook, I specifically made it so that it would be catchy and made sure it said Nifties and NSFW in the name. You know, it had to get people just stuck in their heads. You know.
It's great, man. Honestly, like I said, I myself obviously in the team, but even people outside, they're like, that song, I'll wake up and I have the chorus going on in my head. So it's very well done, and I think we could take it to the next level, and that's why I think it's important you're in the video as well. We'll make sure you're out here.
Cool, man. Sounds good. I got people out there that I'd love to go see too. So it sounds good.
I can definitely echo that point about your song, Chris. I get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and it's going through my head non-stop. So, fantastic song.
Thanks.
Question on the collaboration with the toy makers you mentioned, Alex. So I've seen, I don't know if this is a real thing or not, but I've seen adverts for these toys that you can kind of link to the video. So they're kind of electronic, you can link to the video. I know you've got VR work in the pipeline. I'm wondering if that's something maybe to look into, where you have exclusive NFTs and you can also unlock scenes that can be used with that virtual headset or toy or whatever it is, and it actually syncs up with what's going on.
It could get very creative. I know there's another startup that's unrelated to crypto, but it's in the adult industry, specifically working on toys, and you can incorporate VR with something like a fleshlight that moves. I mean, it gets very advanced and kind of like, it's kind of crazy what they're doing, but that is something that down the line, when the VR, we roll that out, that's something that we would want to implement and attach that to the NFT so that it's a unique experience. And I think too, like the ability to kind of customize it is important as well. So it's like if you have an NFT and you can unlock a stream, and the stream is done in VR, and you have a toy that's attached to the actual stream, I think that's like next level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Really good opportunity.
yeah, it's a madness. And I've been here from the get go, from day one. But I love the links we're getting through. Can we make them more prominent to sell the NSFW tokens just for their own fan base rather than just for the token itself? So basically, more like the ambassadors, for instance, do they get a kickback of something, or what do they work towards?
Yeah, so they get rewards in NSFW tokens, as well as kind of like those bounties for the daily tasks that they have, as well as getting paid for going to events and representing the brand.
Okay, yeah, that's nice. Like obviously, once we're in that circle with the hierarchy in that sense, yeah.
I think for that, and that's why big focus is at exchange, because the biggest feedback I've heard from people that might dabble into crypto and specifically these bigger audiences, not everyone is able to figure out going through all the steps, and you could lay it out in a video, but at the end of the day, it's still somewhat complex for the everyday person. And I think that's why it's very important to get on an exchange so that you can buy it directly from an app with one step versus having to, do all the steps that everyone needs to do now to get it set up on Trust Wallet or using PancakeSwap. But that's...
And how close are we to nailing that into one sweeps, somewhat sweeps, like an easy step?
Well, once we're on an exchange, it'll be once, if you're funded on the exchange, you could just buy it like you would be able to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum.
And
and that's going to be important for us before we start, marketing to the general public. It's important to have that, because it's great. We can do all the marketing we want, and then it's like if they can't actually go ahead and, purchase the token to use on the platform, it kind of defeats the purpose, other than brand awareness. So there's a lot of moving parts. That's the thing. There's a lot of moving parts, and I once again appreciate everyone for the patience with kind of dealing with 2 migrations, because every single time we did a migration, it kind of put things on pause for a few days, and like I said, now that we got the marketing coming through, and we got a solid tokenomics set up, and the new website's coming out. It's like things are looking very bright, and I'm very excited of where we're headed. So it's one of those things that I think patience is gonna pay off. I know there's a lot of opportunity cost, obviously being here, being other places. So I am thankful for that, for everyone that is involved. But I think now we're moving things into 5th gear in terms of what we're gonna be able to accomplish going forward.
Well, you definitely have a task in front of you. Like you're trying to become known in the porn industry as well as in the crypto industry, and in the NFT industry more specifically.
Yeah, the biggest thing that keeps me up at night is how long is the altcoin quote unquote bull run gonna last. So I want to make sure that we're set up for success, that even if there is some sort of a pullback, like it's not going to affect the token or the business as a whole. And that's why it's important to kind of establish all these kind of like groundwork, partnerships, and being able to do this kind of stuff with bigger businesses, so that God forbid there is some sort of pullback and stuff, we're not as effective greatly, because there is an actual use case and people are coming to the platform and still using the token other than just speculating on it. Because when the music ends, that's where we're going to see who's been doing the right things versus who was just riding the wave. Sorry, I missed that.
I'm just clowning around. I said, cough, come rocket.
Oh.
It's just, honestly, it's a bit far-fetched, but how many toys have been sold with the NFTs to date? If possible to ask.
On our platform or in general?
No, just on our platform. Our platform, I do state that highly as well, our platform.
Our platform, so I mean, overall, each NFT drop has sold anywhere, on average, I'd say for like 60% of the NFTs dropped. But we do want to make sure that everyone is selling out. I mean, you look at some of these other NFT platforms, and when they have a drop, it's like the things, there's just so much demand. So
yeah. Sorry, Alex. Sorry to interrupt you there, but I mean, how many of them have been sold with additional items to that drop as well?
Oh, thus far, I think 2. But we've only had, like, I think 4 that had an additional item.
No, that's fair. Honestly, as a man, we're both representative males. Yeah, we should see an increase in that very soon. Because, yeah, if you pay for NFT, you want someone to go with that on the fireplace as well. If you hear me.
Yeah, and I could tell you Ginger's drop on Monday is going to have a lot of different types of unlockables. So make sure you guys are there for that.
Unlockables, I love it. Yeah, so check it out.
Big Johnson username checks out.
Alex, is there anything more that we as a community can do to support? I'm just conscious with everything going on, you guys are spinning a lot of plates.
No, I think
obviously liking all the posts and stuff, but anything else?
I think the biggest thing is staying united in terms of like having like, I know we have like the daily task that is put in the Telegram, but I think specifically like coordinating like 2 or 3 times a day where we all go on Twitter and use specific hashtags. And I know to some extent there's a portion of the community that does it, but it's not at the scale that it could be. And ultimately that's going to move the needle the quickest more than any type of marketing right now, because there's a good amount of people on this channel. So I think, and that's something, that's why I said a community manager is important, because then they can coordinate that, they can pause it. And I know the mods have been doing a great job thus far, but obviously everyone has, outside life and outside work. So we need someone dedicated that can do that on a consistent basis. And I know for the time being, I'll make sure either myself or James or Christian is doing it on the platform through the admin account. But it'd be great to just have that kind of being set up and just driving the whole community, and as a community to push other people to do it. So if you see someone online, like, hey, make sure that you go and you like this or you upvote or to comment and blah, 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 because it's like, we've been doing a lot of like even CMS posts and like we're getting like 6 or 7 comments, which I know there is a requirement of having, I think it's 50 comment karma to be able to comment on that, but I know we can do better. I mean, there's over 4,000 or 5,000 people in this channel alone and another 1,800 on Discord. So it's a matter of just coordinating the community as a whole and getting these things done. We also, I mentioned, I believe earlier, we have a Reddit account too, so we can start doing it as well from us directly. Because I know a lot of times too, we want to do like, we want to do a CMS or Satoshi Street Bet, but we're missing the person that there's like 2 or 3 people that actually have an account that fits the requirements to do that. And that's important that we're doing that every single day consistently, because that's the highest ROI. There's so many people on those platforms that are ready to buy. They know how to buy and they know how to use this platform. So it's important for us to get in front of them. And I think that's what we need to do as a community, is just, if we say, hey, we're going to pause the chat for 10, 15 minutes, make sure to go do X, Y, and Z, is like, take a step to do that. I mean, ultimately, it's just going to benefit you as a holder. And it's not going to take a lot of work. It really isn't.
Completely agree. Thank you, Alex.
I think Megatron would make a good community manager.
Yeah, I mean,
I just wanted to ask, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask about this podcast next week with Kali. Are you going to be there as well personally, or like any member of the team, like just talking about crypto, NFTs, and platform in general?
I'm going to be there, but on a Zoom call. So I'll be there like virtually.
Are you gonna be there like briefly or for the whole period of the time?
For a good portion. I'm not going to be there most likely for the whole podcast, because I know they run pretty long, but I'm going to be there for a solid amount based on my understanding. Good. I mean, I don't control the overall podcast, but from what Callie, because I've been talking to Callie about it directly, and obviously she's a co-host. This is something relatively new that they're rolling out, and they want to talk about this specifically and her drop as well. So I would assume that it's a solid portion.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah. And let's connect after Megatron and see what your availability is like.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a bit late to coming on this chat, but I saw a video earlier in the Telegram group on one of the pin messages where it looked like it was an app. Have you already talked about that? Are you making an app, or is there a plan to in the future?
Well, so that's kind of it's one of those things where it's most likely going to be a web app. It won't actually be an iOS or Android app, and anyone that claims that they're going to be doing that is straight up lying, because it's a violation of iOS and Android App Store, or the Play Store, to have adult content apps on their platform. So it won't be an app per se, it'll be a web app. So it'll be optimized for mobile. That's
Would
why
they ever
that's why you don't
say,
see Pornhub or any of those sites having actual apps. They don't let you do that on those platforms.
would you ever consider, obviously this would be the end goal, but having our NSFW plugin on their website? That would be the pinnacle of the operation, right?
I mean, obviously that's something that we would want up for sure. It's a matter of setting up enough base, and that's why I think too, like, going to these events is important, because there's obviously a handful of different tokens, and if they're just getting emails, like, that's not going to really move the needle, versus like, connecting with them in person or connecting them directly on a video call and moving forward. That is definitely obviously the goal long term. So we'll see. It's obviously still, I think at this point it's relatively premature, realistically speaking.
Yeah. Get him raw. That's what I say.
Yeah.
What does your and James and Christian's sort of day to day look like? Like what do you guys like? What's the calendar like? What do you do on a day to day basis?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously the last week has been pretty hectic. So like last week,
for sure, with the migration and stuff.
But before that, I mean, it was all at XBiz. I mean, for the most part, what we're really focusing on is at this point, like, building the platform, and redesigning that, and marketing and bringing on partnerships and stuff like that. That's really what the focus is on the back end for xxNifty.
For all three of you, that is, or is that your?
For the most part, so
you all work together. Or?
I mean, I'm working on this literally 18 hours a day. James and Christian, they do still have a full-time job, so they're working about, I say 6 hours a day. And obviously, being that they work remote is beneficial, because they can put more time. They're not in an actual office, but
this is definitely your brainchild, and this is your pride and joy.
Yes. In terms of, I mean, we're all, I guess, quote unquote, co-founders. But right now, I have the opportunity to work as much as I can on this, because I'm working on this completely all day long. But that's why I think building the team is important, because it's important to have specific duties and specific roles for everyone on the platform, in terms of someone that's specifically just doing the brand ambassadorship program, someone that's specifically doing the community management, someone that's specifically doing X, Y, and Z. And that's why we're in a position now that we can do that, in terms of, bringing on more people, specifically in full time. And I know I've mentioned this in the past. One of the biggest things for me is bringing on someone from within the industry work full time on this as well. That's very important for me, because that type of insight and that type of connections and that type of understanding of the industry, James, Christian, or myself don't have to that level. So I think that's gonna once again differentiate us from everyone else.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, even Pollyanna, or I think it was Pollyanna, maybe it was someone else who said that they've been in the industry for 10 years or something. But I know, and I've heard the phrase thrown around, invest in people rather than products or whatever. And I think you in particular are doing a great job. Like, I think you're doing everything you can to make this successful, and I'm sure all of us here can't thank you enough. So thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. To be honest, when rolling out the utility token, we didn't realize how much work would go into that, because now it's like, okay, we wanted to spend 90% of the time on the platform and partnerships and building that, and 10% on the token, but it's almost like certain days the roles are reversed. But that's why we want to find a happy medium, and I think just really establishing kind of like what our availability is for doing these voice chats, because it is important, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's like there's so much that we have to work on behind the scenes as well. So it's just really just time management at the end of the day is what it comes down to.
Hey, just a quick one. On Chris's song, is there any way to give some protections on that hook line so nobody rips him off and goes and produces it?
I'm going to have to ask you, Adriano, to repeat that, because it kind of broke up a little bit. I know you're asking about the song.
Yeah, just on Chris's song. Everybody loves that. And is there any protections that he can grab on that, on the hook line, so that nobody goes and rips him off before you do the production version?
Yeah, I could definitely get a copy, bro.
Yeah, Chris is here, so that's something I communicate with him directly because ultimately he wrote the song.
Yeah, you can feel free to DM me, man, if you want to. But yeah, that's definitely something that's been in my head lately. I really just did it at first as just like something we could use on like memes and stuff, something we could put on videos, you know. But it's kind of grown into a little more, and that's cool. I'm completely down to do whatever we need to do to make it like work out, you know.
Just wrote like a top 10 chart hit, and it's like, I just wrote it for memes and stuff.
Yeah, I really just wrote it for the memes to have content for the crypto.
Yeah, I mean, you were pretty quick with that. I think that was like day 2 and you already had that song in the group. So
Yeah, man, I make songs in like 10, 15 minutes.
Can we get that pinned on the Telegram?
yeah, it should be, but we could repin it. I mean, it gets lost with all the other pins.
Yeah, guys, I appreciate the love. I really didn't even know if anybody would like it. I just did it and was like, all right, here we go. See what happens.
I think it's so different. It's so different, Chris, and it's generally a catchy song, but I think it's a way that we could kind of really access a whole side that no. The problem is right now, especially with the cryptocurrencies, is like everyone is just like following the same things, right? It's like there's literally a guideline and everyone does the same exact thing, and it's like this is just so out of the box that I think it's going to be very, very big potential for us.
I've been in like the hip hop world for a while, and we would always just do our songs and put them on videos and stuff, and then share them on Instagram. Sometimes add a little money on promotion and build a fan base off of that. And so I just kind of took the same concept and put it to this, and was like, I mean, the whole concept of this crypto is about, you know, what we got going on. I'm like, we could have beautiful women dance to this song all day long. And that's just kind of what I did.
Actually, it might be a good way to throw it into other Telegram channels. You're not writing anything. You're not doing a picture. You just drop the song link with a little song in the Telegram. People click on it. You might get banned, but they hear the song and they'll get hooked. We can try.
By the way, I don't know if Lacey, if you're on this call, I was just informed of your DMs on Twitter. If you're not able to talk, it's because you have to log out and log back in. It's sometimes there's an issue that the mic is muted. So, and that's the same for everyone else. If you're asking questions, we're not ignoring you. We can't hear you. And I'm looking through the list. There's 58 people. Half of them, it looks like the mic is off. So what you need to do is log out and log back in. And apologies to anyone that thinks we're ignoring them. That's not the case. We just can't hear you.
So basically, I'm trying to unlock everyone who joins and has the microphone off. So I'm allowing them to speak.
Yeah. No, I feel bad because I know Lacey wanted to join to the conversation earlier, and I guess she wasn't able to, but we weren't ignoring anyone. It was just we couldn't hear them. So just want to make sure everyone is aware of that. But anyways, guys, I do have a call in 7 minutes with one of the brand ambassadors. If there's no immediate questions, I'm going to go ahead and save this recording. We'll upload it to YouTube. That way it's there for everyone else that missed out, and we'll be in touch.
May I ask one question? Sorry for your time, Alex, as well. I appreciate everything. How many brand ambassadors do we have in the moment?
We have 6 right now, and we're obviously still looking to add, but at this point we kind of want to start experimenting with what the game plan is on a weekly basis, and then we can obviously add more brand ambassadors as we pick. And we're pretty selective, right? We're not, because we've had a lot of people request, but we want to have a very comprehensive team that has different experience in the industry. I think that's ultimately very important.
Yeah, okay, perfect. I'm from the UK, and a lot of people are familiar with OnlyFans, and they don't want to see OnlyFans going for their bank either. So, something to look into as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, right now we mainly focused on porn stars, but OnlyFans is probably the next route as well. I know there's obviously
Has to be.
Yeah.
Never look into that.
Well, that and I think the three ones are porn stars, OnlyFans, and then also like Twitch influencers is probably the other ones.
OnlyFans is play money. It's crypto money.
Yeah.
In a sense, it's people. Yeah, they're willing to play. No.
I agree. I agree 100%.
So anyway, I'll check it out. Look, sit tight. Hold up, huddle, ciao.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you all. We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Well.